Hey everyone, it's Valentine's Day, so we're doing a Valentine's Day special, because what better way to celebrate the violent death of a Byzantine saint than to talk about love and happiness? I'm a sucker for rom-com. That might come as a bit of a shock to some of you. I know that, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine's Rosa, I tend to project the battle-hardened, tough-as-nails vibe, and that's true. But also, like Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I enjoy a good Nancy Meyers movie every now and then.
Just like a Nancy Meyers movie.
She's our favorite director.
Aw, I love You've Got Mail.
That's Nora Ephron, you idiot.
And so, because I'm a sucker for rom-coms, I was rewatching Notting Hill recently, a film which undoubtedly belongs firmly in the S-tier category of like late 90s, early 2000s rom-coms. Truly Kino. Suck it, Bridget Jones. But despite the fact that I can say statistically that like over 90% of my subscribers and regular viewers are here for the Marvel stuff I often cover, I want to talk today about a couple of moments from this film, and the way they illustrate some of the movie's central ideas about love. But the part I'm interested in is near the end, so here's a quick recap of what leads up to this point. William Thacker, played by Hugh Grant, runs a bookshop in Notting Hill, an area within London. Famous movie star Anna Scott, that's Julia Roberts, comes in to buy a book, and they have a bit of a meet-cute. And then they bump into each other again, and then he sneaks into the press junket for her latest movie to try and see her one more time, while making a bit of a tit of himself.
The film's great, and I just was wondering whether you ever thought of having more horses in it.
After this, there's a few standard rom-com ups and downs, most of which result in some way from the very different worlds these two characters live in, like issues caused by tabloids and Thacker's lack of understanding of the ways media nonsense can actually ruin people's lives. But in the time they manage to spend together in between all of these big disruptions, we see two people who naturally click, who get each other, and have a magnetic chemistry. But then, you know, something else will happen and mess things up again. All of this is a little too much for the poor romantic Thacker. He spends his time after she leaves in a malaise, and it lasts for months. When they cross paths again though, it seems Anna has decided she doesn't care about their different worlds, and her immense fame, and the issues which that had caused so far, culminating in a truly iconic scene where she tells Thacker that, well, see for yourself.
I'm also just a girl, standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her.
But Thacker turns her down, turns down the biggest star in the world, and the lady he's been mad about for months, because if something else got in the way, if they got torn apart again, he wouldn't survive. And so they go their separate ways, and shortly thereafter, he realises how much of a colossal bonehead move this was.
But she said she wanted to go out with you.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
What?
Well, you know, anyone saying they want to go out with you is pretty great, isn't it?
But the scene in which he realises this, and the cinematography accompanying his epiphany, is what I want to talk about, because the film conveys this change in Thacker's mentality in a delightfully simple way.
It was sort of sweet, actually. I mean, I know she's an actress and all that, so she can deliver a line, but she said she might be as famous as it can be, but also that she was just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her.
Did you see it? Pay attention to the motion of the camera. It's not complex at all. This is a pivotal scene for the movie's plot and for Thacker's arc, but it's also a pivotal scene because the camera literally pivots. Our perspective physically reverses, mirroring, of course, the reversing perspective of our protagonist. And that's about it, really. It's simple, but it's deceptively simple. Let me explain. The point of this final leg of the film, of Anna's profession of love to Thacker in the bookshop, his epiphany, and subsequent quest to win her back, is that love is straightforward and powerfully simple. The world is complicated, fame is complicated, but Anna realises that ultimately her love for Thacker isn't, and is more powerful in its simplicity than everything else combined. And when she's accepted that, she is just a girl asking a boy to love her. Is this conception of love's beautiful simplicity unrealistic? Maybe. Is it reductive when we think out how relationships work in the real world, and how our material conditions absolutely can and often do define our romantic lives? Absolutely, but this is a rom-com. And since this isn't a video essay about, I don't know, how rom-coms are secretly harmful to society, and is instead an appreciative analysis of the cinematography and themes of Notting Hill in particular, I think we should leave our cynicism at the door and take the film's fairy tale ideals of love on their own terms. But the beautiful thing is that when Thacker is realising this himself, that there was a truth to Anna's words, and that their love is the most simple, natural and powerful force in their lives, we're shown his thoughts changing by an equally simple pan across the room. Look, I've not been to film school, neither have you probably. I'm sure there are cooler visual tricks you can play with the camera, like that Jaws thing where they zoom in and pull the dolly backwards or whatever, but that doesn't matter, because not everything needs to be flashy. And in creating a scene where our perspective visibly reverses alongside the perspective of our protagonist, Notting Hill's cinematography matches its sentiment of beautiful simplicity. So say what you will about Notting Hill, it's unrealistic, it's got a horribly dated soundtrack, and it's pretty absurd that a film set in London, even the London of last century, is so unremittingly white. But I really like this moment, and the whole film in fact, so I guess I take that back. Don't say what you will about Notting Hill, only say good things, because it's just a banger film. Best film of all time, possibly, who's to say? And if you've watched this entire video and haven't seen the film before, maybe give it a watch. It makes your heart go all fuzzy inside, and that's nice sometimes, considering the dystopian hellscape we live in. But as always, I want to thank my patrons on screen now, especially Ian Fifield, even though this is almost certainly not the content they want me to make. But yeah, thanks, see you soon.